I obtained the phone number of a young gentleman who actually delivered my meds right to the front curb. I went out, I'd pick him up, I'd pay for him, and go in and live happily ever after. And so I was introduced to heroin. That was in January of 2010. By August of 2010, no more pension, no more savings, no more house, no more wife, no more kids. I was on the street with the clothes on my back. I ended up living as a companion for my aged mother who was suffering from early onset dementia. I was going to say caregiver, but I was a heroin addict, for crying out loud. What kind of care was I going to give her? Anyway, for the next 3.5 years, I was living with my mother, using, and then my wife had an intervention for me. Sent me to Creekside. Now, I've been to Creekside 3 times in the last 3 years. Every time I would relapse before I got home. This time she picked me up from Creekside, drove me straight to Pacifica, where I spent the next 2 months. The first 6 weeks of my 8-week stay, I was weaning myself off of methadone. Kind of slow, but not. And for the last 2 weeks, I was feeling like $1 million. I mean, I was feeling really good. I got out of Pacifica, but I had no support. I had no real hope in my life. But at Pacifica, I learned this mantra that when you're having a craving, acknowledge the craving. Say, I'm having a craving, but this craving, it's just a thought. And this thought has no control over me. It's not an action. I have control over my thoughts, and I have control over this craving. And usually, by the end of my little mantra, the craving was gone. Or that was the theory. Anyway, I stayed clean for, 3.5 or 4 days after I got out of Pacifica. That was a record for me. And I went on to using heroin. But I'd graduated from snorting to injecting. I was living with my son and his girlfriend. We were actually squatting in the trailer out behind Staples, living there, using drugs there. They say that the family that uses together stays together. We stayed together until the girl found herself pregnant in 2016. The ministry got involved. She moved out in December of 2016 and went to live with her estranged father. She was off the hard drugs and on methadone. My son and I were living in the trailer for the rest of December when he left, since we got kicked out. And he moved in with her, but he was still using. And I'm homeless. Now I'm officially homeless. I'm squatting. I'm sleeping behind a hedge behind Staples. Unbelievable. It was so bad I'm dumpster diving for food. Now, before you judge me too harshly for the dumpster diving for food, they were Starbucks dumpsters. Anyway, March of 2017, the girl goes into labor. They're down at Children's Hospital where they're going to be there for 2 weeks. They want to monitor the girl. They want to monitor the baby because he's probably going to have some addiction issues. He may have to go on a morphine drip to withdraw.